Dear Father, brothers and sisters, now I would like to talk about 5 things I once thought I knew about God but was wrong. The first thing is God is an absent presence. I used to think that God is an absent presence because there are many times the bad events happen in my life, like I lost my grandfather and grandmother, or the typhoon attacked our house, or the pandemic I cannot go back to Vietnam. And I think, where is God? Where is God? That who I follow, who I trusting. I pray, but it's not. It seems that He's absent. However, that is the wrong thoughts about God. God is always present. And as God talked to Moses, I am who I am. His always presence here and now in our lives, in my life, in your life. And as God saved the Israelites through the Red Sea event, that's considered the side event. The bad event in our lives, it is just the bad event happen, and we and I need to continue to see the meaning behind each event, especially the bad event in my life. That's what is the message that God give to Israel, like the Israelite, through 40 years in the desert, with many difficulty and challenges, especially before the dangerous, the Egyptian uh, run to the kingdom, but God saved them through the Red Sea event. The second point is Jesus is not the kingdom of God. I thought, how the kingdom of God is in the person. The kingdom of God, I thought that should be the place or space or in the sky of heaven, or in like the country with boundary and with the king, with power, and we need to obey everything. And it seems that there is still the rule, very strict rule in the kingdom of God. Even there is the joyful place. I like to think Jesus is the kingdom of God, the auto basilia. Man could become in the person of Jesus. That is the great, very, very great message, very great and meaningful um, thought, meaningful message to me. And Jesus completely self-revelation in his through his words and deeds. The kingdom of God now become the place, the joyful place, with the compassion, love, sharing, as Jesus did, like he healed, like he exercises, like he teaches, eating, sleeping, feeling, and he has pity on those who are in need, especially the poor. So the kingdom of God is in the person of Jesus, and is now, here and now. It's not only in the past or in the future, but it is here and now. It is the very meaningful for us. The man code is for all, not only for one or for the Israelite people. But the man code welcomes all kind of people, those who accept the invitation of Jesus. The third point is Jesus is not God's norm or God's law. How come Jesus is God's norm or God's law? Because usually I thought or I learned from the Bible that the law is the words of God. It's written in the book. That's why it's mean by what. It cannot be by who. But that is wrong thought about God. Jesus is God's law. In the Old Testament, God revealed Himself through giving the laws, His laws to Moses, like the Ten Commandments in the Sinai Desert. And now, God still giving us the law, but not in the book, but in the person of Jesus. From what to the who. So Jesus become the law. Now Jesus, the God's law, the Logos, can moving, can presence, is now. And that is also the great message for me. Jesus completes God's law of love, Lord, and He gives the meaningful for the law of God. Law is not just on the book, not just focused on the law, but focus how we understanding the law and apply the law to live as the disciple of Jesus, as the sons and daughters of God. And the fourth point is God is angry God. This also the wrong thoughts about God. Because before I thought, especially when I read the Old Testament, and I think about many times it seems that God punished the Israelite people, like God punished Adam and Eve when they eat the apple, the tree, the fruit of the tree that God tell them not to eat. Or when God allowed the flood to clean the surface of the world in the time of Noah. Or in the event of Abel Tower or other events in the Old Testament. So it seems that God of the Old Testament and God in the New Testament is different. Why? Because in the New Testament, Jesus reveals God is the compassionate God, loving God, the merciful God. So that's the question, and that is wrong thought. Actually, God in the Old Testament and in the New Testament is one. God is the same. His own way, the loving God. He wants to give I and you the best things. As the first time He revealed Himself through the creation, and after each day God created the things in the universe, He said, it is good. And it is good that God is not the angry God. I do believe God is not the angry God, but God is always the loving and merciful God. His own way with us. Um, especially Jesus is become the true face of God, the true nature of God. That through Jesus we know God the Father. And through Jesus we understand more and deeper about God. Those events happen in the Old Testament, I think, not because God banished the Israelite, but it is just the bad event happened. And we need to find the meaning behind each event. Because finally, God wants to give us how to live the better life. God guides us through every events and guide to the salvation. And last point is, God is the only one acting in faith. It's also wrong thoughts about God. Actually, God is the first one inspires. That's why faith is the grace. However, after that, we are also act, the human acts, we are also need to act out of faith. Faith alone, we cannot be saved, but we need to act out of faith. Like the blind man Bartimaeus, when he knows that Jesus of Nazareth passed by Jericho, he called Jesus, Jesus, Son of David, have pity on me. And that is the act of faith. If he knows Jesus, the Nazareth passed by, but he did not call out, Jesus of Nazareth, have pity on me. And even the people rebuke him, tell him to keep silence, but he still called Jesus louder. That is the act of faith, and he was healed by Jesus. So faith not only acting one side from God. God is the first give us, granting to us faith. However, we need to relate, to cooperate with Him, to strengthen our faith in God, that we might be saved by our faith. So acts of knowing and believing, and act of knowing with head and hearts, that is necessary, that we need to believe, to build up our faith in both sides, not only with one side. Even we do believe that God's the first one reveals to us. God is the first one give us grace in faith. But we need to do our best. We need to contribute, like prayer life faithfully, or especially we need to do charitable works in our lives, like helping the poor, sharing with the hungry, food with the hungry, give the clothes to those who don't have clothes, give the place for those who are homeless, and bring the good news in every times for every people. Thank you very much for your listening. May God bless you.